Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've done a video. It's another fine sunny weekend in the Sunshine State. As you can see out here, the yard is once again a swamp, which when you're doing house renovations like we are, it's the last thing you need. But anyway, it is what it is, and of course Brian and myself had planned on taking the HAMBsters out for a run at Willowbank this Friday, but with the weather, as you've just seen, that obviously got cancelled. So with the kids and dogs and everyone inside going stir crazy on a half pulled apart house, I'm out here in the shed mucking around with the HAMBster and looking at the next sort of few mods that I want to get done to this thing. So anyway, hopefully the weather sorts its shit out and we'll get to the track with Brian for a test before the Nostalgia's coming up on the 26th. But in the meantime, I'll run you guys through a little update that I've had planned for a while from a few pub chats out at Linville with Mr. Wilson, and he's kindly once again donated some parts to the cause, so we'll see if we can sort them out and get them working. Alright, so one of the things that I probably wish that I did when I built this car is put the brakes on a handbrake. So I'm just running accelerator or throttle, brake and clutch pedal in this car, so 3 pedals. But yeah, ideally I think I probably should have put the brakes on a handbrake. Just would have sort of given or freed the feet up. So as you do the burnout and you're trying to keep the car idling and stage the car and everything, there's a lot going on, even though it probably doesn't seem that way from the footage. You know, everyone calls these things junior dragsters for old people because they're a bit slow, but when you are driving them, there's a lot going on. So staging the car can be a bit of a pain when it's all 3 pedals that you're trying to keep going at once, trying to not drive it through the beam and get everything staged. So speaking to Lindsay, and he suggested to me, a lot of times in the old days they used to actually put like a handbrake on the brake pedal so that it freed a foot up. You could just keep your 2 feet on the clutch and the throttle pedal and then use your spare hand to use the handbrake on the brake pedal to try and help stage the car. So that's what we're going to try and do. Lindsay has once again generously donated some parts for the cause. So my plan is, and reading the latest Street Machine, which I'll show you guys now, my idea. So in November's issue of the latest Street Machine, there's a story in here by Simon Major on Dean Prodger's Grot Resto. Awesome article, awesome resto and an awesome car. But when we get through it, there's a section in here which talks about exactly what Lindsay was mentioning to me. So, you know, back in the day, they just make a simple lever that would come off the brake pedal to try and free a foot up. So that's what I'm gonna have a go to see if I can get sorted out. Again, Lindsay has kindly donated an old crash box Impala 3-speed shifter, so I'm going to try and pull the thing apart, clean it up and see if I can adapt it onto my existing brake pedal to try and make this thing a little bit easier to stage and also launch. So I guess this is like a bit of an old school trans brake, I guess you could call it. Anyway, we'll pull this thing apart, see if we can clean it up and see if it'll fit in there. Let's get into it. Alright, so I've been up in the car, and as you just saw, I've pulled the main lever off the old Impala shifter. So yeah, it's might be a bit sacrilege that I've pulled the old Impala shifter apart, but I've kept it all, and I don't plan on modifying anything. It'll just be making a bracket to bolt it all into. So at the end of the day, no old speed parts were harmed in the making of what I'm trying to do here. So like I said, it's like a trans brake of sorts. Yeah, I know it's not locking the transmission in first and reverse to build RPM, but it's, for me, it's just allowing my feet to clutch and throttle and use a hand to brake, because it's, like I said, it's pretty busy. So I've been up in the car playing around with it. I think it'll work. I think if I can sort of get a bracket coming off the brake pedal to get the lever onto, I can do it so that it doesn't impede me being able to put my foot on the brakes if I need to in an emergency. It doesn't impede my legs, and it'll give me enough leverage to be able to apply the brakes with my hand. So I think it'll all work with a bit of thought and a bit of trial and error and having a crack at it. So that's what we'll do, and we're using old speed parts to get it done, and that's kind of what the HAMBster class is about, trying to build things with what you've got lying around. So anyway, I think it'll work. Like I said, we'll just have to do a few tweaking and adjusting in it, but in the meantime, while I've got this apart, it's a bit crusty, as you can see, lots of surface rust on it, but I want to have a go at trying to clean it up a bit. So I'm going to try a few different things. I've never tried the Coke and Aluminium method, so we'll give that a crack, and if that doesn't work, I've got some Soapy Steel Wool pads that I know definitely works with this sort of thing. So probably won't give me perfect results, but it'll clean it up enough for me to be able to start playing around with it and not worrying about it too much. So we'll have a look and see how the Coke and Aluminium works, and if not, revert back to the steel wool. Let's do it. So yeah, seen this trick a few times. Never actually done it myself, so we'll see how we go. Hopefully we're not wasting the bourbon mix too badly. Coke, crappy alfoil, and all I reckon you do, roll it in the ball and give it a scrub. Let's see how we go. Seems to be working pretty good, actually. Waste the bourbon mix, but if it gets this thing up, it might not be, or might not be lost. Give it a clean up so you can't get all the ants that are out of home in the shed. It's not too bad. Right, get on it. See how we get looking. So it's not coming up too badly. We'll keep going on it. See how we get it looking. Alright, so about 5 minutes, not even, worth of Coke and alfoil, and it's actually come up pretty good. The chrome on this thing is obviously not perfect. It's why Lindsay's given it to me. These things are worth a fair bit of money when they're in mint condition, but as a first pass with Coke and foil, like, it has come up really good. So we'll give it another hit, and we'll see what the finished product ends up looking like. But as a first pass, not bad at all with the old Coke and alfoil. It's the first time I've ever used that, and apart from the sections where the chrome's pitted real badly, it did a pretty good job of cleaning it up. So can only imagine what that stuff is doing to your guts, especially when it's mixed with a bit of bit of bourbon. But anyway, tastes good. Who cares? Got to die something. Let's keep going. All right, the next thing I'm going to use to try and clean this up a bit is the old Soapy Steel Wool pads. Got a bit of detergent and water in here, so we'll give that a bash and see if we can get some of the deeper stuff off, and I'll let you know what my thoughts are on Coke and Alfoil versus the old Soapy Steel Wool pads. Let's do it. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think we got a winner here. Alright guys, straight away I'm calling it. The old stainless pads, it's way better. The Coke works well. It's obviously probably a bit cheaper, and if you got it laying around it'll get you out of a pickle, but in terms of effectiveness I 100% reckon the soap stainless pads and soapy water is working way better. This thing is going to come up mint, I think, for the condition it was in compared to the condition that I'll get it with this. So anyway, I'll get into it and show you the end result. Alright, so about 10 minutes of scrubbing, and yeah, I think the verdict's out. The steel wool and soapy water is a lot better. So I've been scrubbing away here. I'll just show you it. Hopefully not making you guys too car sick. So if I just give this a wipe down, it's also a lot less messier, and Coke obviously as well. It's got soapy water to clean up instead of sticky Coke. This thing will wipe. This thing wasn't perfect, like there's sections of it where the chrome's like pitted right through to the parent metal, so if you're gonna, you know, go crazy with it, you'd get it re-chromed. But for the purpose of what I'm trying to do, just clean it up and nut everything out and see if it's gonna work, this is definitely got it 100 times cleaner. So yeah, if you look at that there, the Coke and that works well. Like if that's all you'd had, it would definitely improve it. But if you've got the option, go buy the steel wool. Some soapy water, bit of elbow grease, and as long as it's not pitted through to the bare metal, like this was only about 10 minutes of scrubbing. You could probably go a bit more full on to clean it right up. And like I said, if you're super worried about it, like there is sections where it's pitted through to the bare, or pitted through to the parent metal, so you'd get it re-chromed if it was bothering you that much. Maybe I will, because that's sort of how I roll, much to Lindsay and everyone's disgust. But yeah, for a couple of bucks to clean it up while muck around with it and plan it out and execute it, that's definitely going to do the job until final assembly. So yeah, go the steel wool and soap, save the Coke for your bourbon while you're scrubbing away, and get out there and get into it. Alright, so just signing off with the verdict. Like I said, tried both methods. This is the end result. In the end, my recommendation, 100%, use the Soapy Steel Wool pads and some detergent in some water. It worked heaps better, was less messy. Only had to clean up some soapy water afterwards, not sticky Coke and stuff. Leave the Coke for your mixer, hit the steel wool. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching, and yeah, see you out there.